Network, Radyo Ronda
Dxxx Zamboanga
Network, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
The succeeding program is a paid block time program. Views and opinions expressed herein do not necessarily reflect that of the management and staff of Rpn Dxxx Radio Ronda Zamboanga. Thank you.
Tausog ako, tawi-tawi in hula ko, kasadyahitraan in kabayaan mapaawon hakauman, #I connect peace. Sinama ako, di kayo anak bila hinabang makasambuhan makakahapan lahat ko tawi-tawi, #I connect peace.
Maguindanao na ako, pagtabang ako, kano kagkapya, ando kang bayabaya, no magingad, #I connect peace.
I am a teacher. I teach peace. I respect diversity of culture and religion in school. #I connect peace.
Community development ako, imagpasaplag si parsugpatan inya angan-angan ko, #I connect peace.
Inan sobanan, magwit halinaw dindanyo, #I connect peace. Inan sobanan, magwit halinaw dindanyo, #I connect peace.
Estudyante ako. I enjoy my youth. I will not destroy my future. #I connect peace.
IDPEO, biktima de guerra. Deseo de mio el paz. #I connect peace.
Sa magulong mundo, tuktado ako, tutulong ako, #I connect peace.
Medic ako, nagre-rescue ako, I save lives, #I connect peace.
Salamat, hindi malilimutan ating pinagdaanan, ating pinagsamahan sa hirap at ginhawa, sa lungkot at saya. Salamat, salamat, salamat sa RPN. Noong simula pa lamang, kayo ang naging magulang.
Sa aking bawat hakbang, turo nyo'y tamang daan.
Sa aking mga pagsubok, kayo'y laging tumutok.
Kayo na ang laging kapay, hanggang sa magtagumpay.
Salamat, salamat, hindi malilimutan. Gintong alaala, ng ating pagsasama. Sa hirap at ginhawa, sa lungkot at saya. Salamat, salamat, salamat sa RPN. Ako'y makilala, sikat sa buong banla.
Ang ibang karangalan, sa lahat bahagi ka.
Ngayon ka nakita, hinubog ng lumipas.
At bawat ngayon at bukas, nakabuting hanggang wakas.
Salamat, salamat, salamat sa pagkakataon na makapiling, makabalikan, maging bahagi ng mundo. Salamat, salamat, taus-pusong pasasalamat. Salamat, salamat, salamat sa RPN. Hindi malilimutan ating pinagdaanan, ating pinagsamahan. Sa hirap at ginhawa, sa lungkot at saya. Salamat, salamat, salamat sa RPN.
Salamat. Ang oras po natin dito sa lungsod ng Zamboanga at buong Pilipinas, 3 minutos pagkalipas ng alas 6 ng gabi. Magandang gabi po. Kumusta po kayo? Sabado po tayo ngayon at 13 ng Marso. At ito po ang programa ninyo, programa namin, programa nating lahat, ang Parsugpatan, Usaping Pangkapayapaan, isang proyekto po ng IRDT, Integrated Resource Development for Tribe People, sa pamamagitan ng Project Peace Connect, funded by the Asia Foundation. Ang Parsugpatan po ay mapapanood at mapapakinggan tuwing Miyerkules alas 10 hanggang alas 11 ng umaga, ang Parsugpatan Youth Hour, anchored by Miss Carol Mellanes. At tuwing Sabado at Linggo, alas 6 hanggang alas 7 ng gabi, dito lamang po sa Rpn Dxxx 1008 sa inyong mga radio dial. Meron din po tayong special episode ng Parsugpatan tuwing Lunes, Martes, Huwebes at Biyernes, ang Tarbiyatul Aulad, anchored by Ustadja Mayra Apion. Live po tayo sa YouTube. Live din po tayo sa Facebook page ng Rpn Dxxx Zamboanga at ng IRDT. Kasama po ang ating mga partners and stakeholders, ang Local Government Unit of Zamboanga City under kay Mayor Beng Climaco sa pamamagitan po ng Technical Working Group on Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism under the leadership of Mr. Jojo Abdusalam. Kasama din po ang religious sector, ang Ulama Council of Zamboanga Peninsula, the Roman Catholic Church, the United Church of Christ in the Philippines. Kasama din po ang academic sector, Andyan po ang Ateneo de Zamboanga University, Western Mindanao State University, at Zamboanga State College of Marine Sciences and Technology. Kasama din po ang Armed Forces of the Philippines, ang security sector, sa pamamagitan po ng Joint Task Force Zamboanga under the command of Colonel Randolph Rojas. Kasama din po ang 74th Infantry Battalion under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Julius Villena, at Marine Battalion Landing Team 11 under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Joel Atienza, at ang Naval Forces Western Mindanao under the command of Rear Admiral Adasi. Kasama din po ang Philippine National Police through the Police Regional Office 9 under the command of Brigadier General Ilagan. Ang Zamboanga City Police Office under the command of Colonel Rexmel Reyes, at ang ating mga PSALM Station under the command of Major Salam, kasama ang ating mga PSALM volunteers. Bienvenidos! Welcome! Magandang gabi po. Buenas noches, Zamboanga. Maayong gabi kanatong tanan. Good evening, world. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Parsugpatan. Kasama po ang ating mga panauhin ngayon. We are so lucky and consider blessed that we have a very special visitor tonight dito sa ating Parsugpatan. I'm afraid I'll be running short of English tonight. With our guest straight from the United States of Shitty, who is the country representative of the Asia Foundation. Sam, good evening and welcome to Parsugpatan.
Gracias, thank you very much.
Hey, thank you. And of course, now joining us tonight, our Executive Director of IRDT, MK Jikiri. Madam, good evening.
Yeah, buenas noches.
Oo, nandyan ba ang mga microphones natin? Okay.
Buenas noches, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Okay, and of course, our President, Maas Usog. Ben, good evening.
Buenas noches, Assalamualaikum todos.
Okay, and the technical head of IRDT, Miss Irene Sales.
Assalamualaikum, good evening.
Okay, so as I've said earlier, we are so blessed. We have with us Mr. Sam Shitik, our country representative of the Asia Foundation. Okay, Sam, I have to put you in. Okay, so you've been here for quite some time. How many? Is this your first time to visit Zamboanga City?
No, thankfully. I think I've been maybe 15 times to Zamboanga over the course of around 8 years.
Oh, okay, 8 years. So, over the course of 8 years, 13, 21, that was the time when Zamboanga siege happened, right?
Right. Actually, now that you mention it, the first time I came was, I think, 2011, 2 years before the siege. And then I've been lucky to come back much more frequently in the last few years. So 2017 until now, I've been coming quite regularly. We have an office here, we have a team, we have wonderful collaborations with groups like IRDT and the city of Zamboanga.
So how was it before the siege and now?
Well, it's, Zamboanga is growing so fast and changing so fast, right? It's always been a fascinating city because it's at the mix of so many different cultures and commerce and everything. And the siege really felt like it was putting things on hold. And there was also so much tension at that time. But it's clear now that the city has moved on beyond that. Obviously, for some families, there's still a need to complete that process of moving beyond what they lost at that time. But the city feels like it's growing and changing very quickly.
Okay. So, comparing 2 years before the siege as 2011 and coming back 2017 and this time 2021, how do you assess the peace situation?
You should be telling me that. No, it's a fascinating city because it is such a mix, and the risks and the difficulties in a security sense are very real for Zamboanga. So I think it's fascinating that the city is able to, one, have a concentrated, comprehensive effort in response to those risks, but also to build on the positives that exist in the city and not just focus on the negatives and the security difficulties. It would be easy to imagine Zamboanga as a city which is completely shut down and completely controlled from a military and a police perspective. But instead, I think what the city is trying to do is have those security measures in place, but also to build on the positive things that tie the communities together. And I think that long term, that's the best kind of protection that a city can have.
I understand you're here purposely to attend the regional convergence of TWGs, technical working groups on preventing and countering violent extremisms, including Basulta, Zamboanga Peninsula, and Zamboanga City. What's up?
What's Up is a great opportunity for people to come together and talk about what matters to them in terms of building the connections between communities. And by that we mean the connections between Muslim, Christian, Lumad or IP, between people of different provinces and different cities and different towns, and between different generations, between the youth and the old. So it's about building all of those different connections that tie people together, and also between men and women. So this TWG has been running for the last 4.5 years as an initiative of the city government, and there are other technical working groups in other municipalities and cities around the region. So some of those came together, and the idea is to exchange, to talk about what works in the practical measures that can help people feel safer and build more cohesive communities.
Okay, so I understand the Asia Foundation is also funding all these peace events activities. What can all these peace events expect from the Asia Foundation?
Well, we're happy to be partnering with groups like IRDT, who are based here in Zamboanga and have been a fantastic partner for many years. We also work with other partners around the region and in other cities and provinces. And the reason that we invest in these things is because we think it's important to support people from their communities that want to work on local peace building. So it's not that the Asia Foundation comes with a set of ideas or instructions. We come with support so that people in their own communities can build from the bottom up. So what works in Zamboanga, and the technical working group on preventing and countering violent extremism in Zamboanga has been a great success. It brings together the city officials, the AFP, the PNP, religious leaders from all faiths, as you mentioned earlier, and the civil society, and they can work together practically. But the constellation of things that work in Zamboanga is not the same as what works in Isabela or in Holo or in Lamitan or any other city. So what that means is that each place has to come up with its own solution.
You had a talk with our city mayor before the start of the regional convergence. What was it all about?
Always good to see Mayor Beng. Always great to see her with a smile and such energy for the way she goes about her responsibilities and her job. So we had a chat about the things that are going to come next for the city. Mayor Beng's term is up at the end of this election cycle, but the city will continue to work on these issues. And we heard from Mayor Beng today about some of the things that have been put in place to make sure that the work at the level of the technical working group and bringing people together can continue.
So how do you see the response of the local government?
Very interesting for me in terms of as somebody who's come just to visit Zamboanga on and off. I think the way in which the city has been able to build spaces for people to come together is a real positive. And I think one important element of that is the way in which they've respected the voices of all the different communities. So you see in the technical working group, which is created, which is chaired by the city, you see space for Christians, you see space for Muslim religious leaders, and you see space for multiple faiths within those groups. Plus you have Baja representation, and you have the young and the old and all different kinds of perspectives. And I think it's really important that the city create spaces like that for everybody to share their perspectives. And they're not always going to agree with each other. So one of the fascinating things that we saw in recent years was the way the TWG and its members were able to react after the grenade bombing in the mosque in Zamboanga. It's times like that when I think a city is tested and the community is tested. And so how they respond is a great reflection, on a city which has had historical differences and problems between religious groups. And I can see that Zamboanga still has issues to resolve. There are still difficulties, but it's building in the right direction.
Okay, we are happy because Zamboanga City that doesn't experience any extremist groups here, and we hope to keep that until the sundown of all Zamboangueños.
But it's true that some ASG members were arrested here not long ago, right? So there are still real risks, and I think it's important to recognize that there are real risks, even if those are not a direct threat to the city. The city is still in the middle of this process of change and understanding, and in that there is a competition of ideas, which is why it's so important that we heard earlier today from some of the esteemed Muslim leaders in the city, because their voices matter in those kind of discussions.
We are so happy because the Asia Foundation came up with this PCVET, Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism and Terrorism, because this really has helped Zamboanga in terms of preventing violence. And people are now reporting the presence of lawless elements. That's why there are arrests made for Abu Sayyaf members and other lawless elements. And we thank the Asia Foundation for helping us out, and we also thank the security sector for working. We always say this, we Zamboangueños, we can sleep well at night while our security forces are awake the whole night and ensuring that Zamboangueños will be sleeping soundly and will be waking up in the morning the following day with Zamboanga City still intact.
It's good to hear.
With us is also the executive director of IRDT, of which the Asia Foundation has been partnering with. Oh, Madam, how is it? Yes.
Pwede ba?
Yes, okay.
Tagalog na ko. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Asia Foundation, of course, Sir Sam here. Sabi mo nga, this is we are blessed enough
Yes.
for and it's really unexpected, although we have this activity, the regional conference ng technical working group, but we never expect this tonight that we have Sir Sam for the last the first and the last episode. Wow. Thank you so much for the trust and of course support you give to us for the entire duration of Peace Connect project. It's almost 4 years, and the Peace Connect projects, it really give us the chance, the opportunity to nagka-short na kita na for everyone, and for every stakeholders to come together, and it's a kind of project wherein we have all the flexibility to to work according to the context of the area we are working with, of the people, of the stakeholders we are dealing with. And that's the good side, that's the good thing with the Peace Connect project. That's the reason that resulted to this, that that gains a lot of positive impact in the implementations.
And I'd like to take this opportunity, Sam, no? I don't know if you already heard about this, that the Peace Connect concept is being employed, being introduced in the different parts of Mindanao. With the 102nd Brigade, bringing it to Zamboanga del Norte, and we have TWGs in Zamboanga del Sur, no?
Yeah.
And you heard this morning the TWGs of Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi.
Yeah.
No? And again, accept our thanks for helping Zamboanga and helping Zamboangueños and the people of Mindanao.
Thank you.
The tri people, actually.
Yeah, the Peace Connect project has been working in many provinces, not just in the Zamboanga Peninsula and Basulta, but also in Llano do Norte, Llano do Sur, Maguindanao, Cotabato. It's a very broad program, but it works in similar ways. It works with religious leaders of all faiths, and it works with youth of all faiths and all dimensions. And we try and use those two groupings to find, again, what are the challenges and the problems that lie between these groups, and then work on what can build the bridges between them. And so we do that through and together with partners like IRDT. But really, the secret to success comes in those groups and those individuals wanting to change their community, whether it's in the border between Llano do Norte and Llano do Sur, or whether it's here in the city of Zamboanga, or it's some of the TWGs that we heard from today in Tawi-Tawi and Basilan.
So, are you going to support all these peace building activities until 2050, 21, 2022?
By 2050, this area will be exporting its knowledge and its peace to other areas around the world. We have support from the U.S. Agency for International Development, from USAID, for this program, which has been fantastic. That particular funding is going to end. Unfortunately, it's been a great program. But the Asia Foundation has been working here in Mindanao for more than 30 years, and we will continue. We're lucky enough to have an office here in Zamboanga. We continue to have other ventures and other projects with IRDT and with our other partners in Basulta. So we will continue these peace-building endeavors. And most importantly, I think the partners who we're working with, the groups who are present here in the city, are committed to continue their work, which means there's good prospects for peace.
Okay. Madam, would you like to add to what Sam mentioned?
Yeah, Peace Connect is ending, but what is unique in this project, I have been into peace building initiative, peace building works for 25 years, but I can see Peace Connect project is really a unique peace building initiative. No, as we can see, the peace building work is, it's very rare to see tangible output. But in the Peace Connect project, the technical working group now working, the youth from different provinces, from the two regions now working, they mobilize themselves for doing a lot of community work, a lot of community engagement for different advocacies, from environment to health and all others that contributing, no, to the push and pull factors of PCVE, to other form of conflict. For me, is really a tangible one. The way that technical working group, I mean, our capacity, the capacity of the technical working group to address basic services in the community is a proof that Peace Connect project has something, no, with that we only have almost 4 years.
Yep.
And
something.
We are proud to say that the TWGPC bet started in Zamboanga City, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we also have this module on PCDEP.
Yeah. And as we heard earlier today from the PNP and the AFP, some of the initial ideas came from them. Not just a top-down security approach, but looking at how they can, realizing that they need to bring people together. And so some of the initial suggestions for the technical working group and the way it was created came from the PNP and from the AFP.
Okay, so hopefully that what the mayor mentioned this morning, it's an international conference.
Right.
Your thought on this, sir?
Yeah, the mayor has spoken about this a couple of times. We had a plan, we had an agreement to hold an event in July of 2020, but unfortunately with COVID, that wasn't possible. And the idea is to use what Zamboanga has learned to bring people together from around the region, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, and bring them together in Zamboanga for a discussion on what works on these issues of building communities together and preventing and countering violent extremism through a positive lens. And what we really hope to work on with Mayor Beng and that bringing people together, which hopefully will happen early part of 2022, is focusing on the things that tie people together, the cohesion and the trust that can come if you build something in the way that this TWG has been built.
So Peace Connect project is all over Mindanao and Zamboanga City. What makes the Peace Connect project in Zamboanga City unique from other areas?
They were the city was the first to really take forward this idea, as you mentioned, and the city built its own solution. So whereas you have formal structures like the Peace and Order Council, every province, every city has to have one. Sometimes those are a good vehicle for the kind of trust building and questions of security that are required. But sometimes you need something different. And in Zamboanga City, because of its history at the crossing point of so many cultures and religions, and because of the history of difficulties that the city had, including the 2013 siege, it was important to have something which the city could use to bring together the various stakeholders in a meaningful way. And I think Kalma will tell us, but when it started, the TWG was not a simple process. Getting people in the room was okay, but having the trust to really talk about what matters to them, it took time. And things that came out of it, like for example, the open house visits from Christians going to a mosque and from Muslims going to visit a church, or the campus tours, all of those things took time to build and ideas to generate. And they only come when people have spent time together, they've had conversations together. And I think what was different about Zamboanga was it was able to build from its unique history and come up with a technical solution, but which works with the dynamics of the city. Maybe Kalma could tell us a little bit more about what makes it different.
Okay, we'll stop there before MK will share her thoughts. Wag po kayo nga alis, babalik po ang Parsugpatan pagkalipas ng ilang paalaala.
Tausog ako, tawi-tawi in hula ko, kasadyahitraan in kabayaan mapaawon hakauman, #IConnectPeace. Sinama ako, di kayo anak bilahin nabang makasambuhan makakahapan lahat ko tawi-tawi, #IConnectPeace.
Magindanao na ako, patabang ako, kano kagkapya, ando kang bayabaya, no magingad, #IConnectPeace.
I am a teacher. I teach peace. I respect diversity of culture and religion in school. #IConnectPeace.
Community development ako. Magpasaplag si parsugpatan inya angan-angan ko. Hashtag I Connect Peace.
Inan sobanan, magwit halinaw dindanyo. Hashtag I Connect Peace. Inan sobanan, magwit halinaw dindanyo. Hashtag I Connect Peace.
Estudyante ako. I enjoy my youth. I will not destroy my future. Hashtag I Connect Peace.
IDPEO, Biktima de Guerra. Deseo de Mio El Paz. Hashtag I Connect Peace.
Sa magulong mundo, pektado ako, tutulong ako. Hashtag I Connect Peace.
Medic ako, nagre-rescue ako. I save lives. Hashtag I Connect Peace.
RPN Radio Philippines Network. Radyo Ronda.
Dxxx Zamboanga.
Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Okay, balik po tayo dito sa ating pagsugpatan. Usaping pangkapayapaan. Isang proyekto po ng IRDT, Integrated Resource Development for Tribe People, sa pamamagitan po ng Project Peace Connect, funded by the Asia Foundation. Kasama pa rin natin ang ating panauhin ngayon, si Sam Shitik, the country representative of the Asia Foundation, and of course with MKGP, the Executive Director of IRDP, and Maasuso, the President, and the Technical Head of IRDP, Ms. Irene Salas. Okay, so we have been doing community engagement. Can you explore more on that, Madam?
Sabi nga natin kanina, magtatapos man yung Peace Connect project, but the support of the Asia Foundation is still here. We have the Converge project ongoing now, and still, yung ating nangungunang stakeholders, yung ating frontliner dito is, yung ating frontline is a technical working group, the same group. Recently, we just had community engagement, the first community engagement activity that we had for the Project Converge, just in Barangay Dita, the last time. So it was, we thank the city government, the CDRRMO, for allowing us to conduct this activity despite, the health protocols. And ang ganda nung community engagement na yan. We had the opportunity to have a dialogue, the usual dialogue we conducted during open house visit. Although the participants is very, limited to a certain number as we are following the health protocols. But we have a dialogue with the community leaders and also with the women sector in the youth sector in the community, and a lot of community issues on the youth development issues, like the young ones now, they are a lot of them involved in the fraternity and that might be resulted into, a gang war.
Yes.
And that's one of the primary concern now of the community. But what is good during the dialogue is everyone from the concerned stakeholders are there, especially our security sector. The city director himself of our city police is there, also the Joint Task Force Zamboanga. And another interesting issues in that community is that because one of the major source of income of the community is cassava farming, but now the problem of the farmers is problem on the market, because it's affected now by the pandemic. And again, the concerned agency, all of us were there, and but they are thinking of having again another venue for us to wherein we can bring the city agriculture, the OST in others like TESDA for possible skills enhancement to make, especially for our women, to make them more productive and can contribute to the community livelihood. Thinking of having a social enterprise out of cassava, and that's one. And I think Irene can add more of the other concerns.
Okay, under the project Converge, it's not only the community activities, but it's also capacitating the LGU. Especially in programming in their PCVE activities, NGO and CSO existing in the barangay or in the municipio is also part of the intervention under Converge. And right now, for almost 1 year and February, almost 1 year. 1 year, the project already reached the communities, the 14 communities or barangay here in Zamboanga cities, and the 12 barangays in Ipil and Tungawan, because it's not only in Zamboanga City. We also covered Ipil and Tungawan. So just recently, actually, we conducted the training for the Lupon, Tagapamayapa, because that's one of the issues or gaps identified as base of the baseline result. So the project Converse addressed that concern in partnership with the DILG, providing the technical inputs on the Lupon Tagapamayapa. So the other activities which the technical working group, si Ma'am Kalma na na-share niya, it's a lead activities by the technical working group.
Okay, thank you A, thank you MK, no? And we started already, no? Because one of the things that we are looking into that could contribute to violent extremism is teen pregnancies and mental health problems. Because if a young teenager will get pregnant at an early age, then the father could not support. So they might engage in other activities that could lead to violent extremism. So that's one thing that we are looking into. And if you notice, in the work plan that was presented and shared this morning, today, one of the second objective, it falls under the second objective. The batang ina, batang ama, young dads and young moms, teen pregnancies, because that will really, in the end, that will really contribute to violent extremism.
Yeah, and that's good, Doc says, during the regional youth convergence conducted last week, no? The Sampin Basulta Peace Connect Youth Assemblies. And the campaign for teenage pregnancy is common to all. Although they have their unique advocacy by areas, like in Tawi-Tawi, they are more on advocating peace and environment to peace, like that. But as I said, common to all is the campaign for teenage pregnancy, as they believe that this will be contributing much to the vulnerability of the young ones.
Yeah, and what the evidence shows from around the world is that anything that makes youth vulnerable and makes life difficult for them at that point, in real difficulties, not superficial things, can be a challenge for them, and particularly if they're in an environment in which they're also going to be coming in contact with people who might be espousing extremist ideas, then it makes them more vulnerable. We, as a separate track, we had a collaboration, or we signed an agreement last week with the Philippine Commission on Women and the National 911 hotline. They're trying to expand the National 911 hotline so it will be genuinely across the country, and it will be able to respond to issues like gender-based violence and questions such as that. And it's great to see that the Philippine Commission on Women is starting to reach out and expand its programming in response to questions like this. The Teenage Pregnancy Challenge is one that affects all communities across the Philippines. It's not just this region. So it's really important that the effort to change those numbers comes from the community leaders, and particularly from the religious leaders.
In fact, President Duterte has already declared a national social crisis for the teen pregnancies, because it's the numbers keep on increasing,
right?
And the ages they're getting younger and younger,
right?
Just like here in Zamboanga City, for 2020 we have a total cases of 51,
right?
Those belonging to the 10 to 14 years old.
Yeah.
So that's quite alarming.
Yeah, it's too young, right? And we just had International Women's Day last week. We celebrate all of the good things that all the good roles that women play in society. We also have to give space to women and women leaders to find those answers for the questions like those really young teenage pregnancies, which have a really terrible effect on young women's lives.
We are proud and we are happy to share actually to the public that the Peace Connect Youth Assemblies in different areas is actually conducting community-based activities, reaching out for this campaign for the teenage pregnancy. So it's nakakatuwa. Even without direct support from us, they are now mobilizing themselves for the campaign. Yeah.
And some of the fundamentals, IRDT have learned this, but other groups have learned it. Some of the fundamentals are the same. We're trying to teach young adults, or people who are becoming young adults, how to make better decisions when they come to crucial points in their life. Better decisions in their personal relationships, and also better decisions in terms of who they listen to and don't listen to in terms of their faith.
Okay. What are the other projects and activities that Asia Foundation is doing or conducting here in Mindanao?
We have a number of programs that are working with local governments, like this one. Ma'am Kalma mentioned Converge, which is another project which is working with local governments across different parts of Mindanao on trying to look at the positive aspects of cohesion and trust, how to help communities build together. We have a couple of programs that are working in the BAM in support of the Bangsamoro transition. So working with civil society, working with BAM officials on how to help that transition from ARM to BAM. And at the national level, we have a bunch of programs on education, mother tongue education together with DepEd. We work on a whole range of different aspects of national economic policy and reform, all of which is very exciting. And we also have a law and human rights program in which we partner together with the Supreme Court and the court system on efficacy and efficiency of the courts.
It's under.
Yeah, so Project Circle is similar to Converge. It works with local government. The same basic idea. And the idea is that if you give the resources and the experience from the rest of the world to local governments, and then they use that as input to come up with their own ideas and their own solutions. And one of the things that underpins the way in which the Asia Foundation works with all our partners is we come in and our job is to listen, and our job is to support. Our job is not to tell our partners what to do, because really they're the ones who are grounded in the communities that they're trying to help.
Okay. So I don't know, but it's up to you if you want to answer. How do you operate in all these areas?
We have a fantastic team. So we have an office here in Zamboanga. We have great partners. We have an office in Iligan with partners in Llano do Norte, Llano Sur, and Misor. We have a large office in Cotabato working all across central Mindanao. So really, the reason we're able to work in these areas is because of our partners. In each case, we have partners who are from those communities, who were born there, raised there, and really live and breathe the solutions to their problems. So, like I said, it's for me, it's incredible. It feels very easy because we're really just there to support and to help grow good ideas that come from the communities.
So you are covering the whole of Mindanao?
We don't do anything in the east at the moment. We don't have programs in Caraga and the eastern side, but we're present in central and western Mindanao, and we have an office in Manila which runs all of our national programs.
Okay. So what can the CSOs expect more from the Asia Foundation?
They can expect that we will stick by them and stick with them, all the partners that we're currently working with. We tend to find partners and then stick with them for a long time. And the reason for that is because civil society work is hard. It's tough. Things don't change overnight. We find partners who work on issues that they care about. You were talking about teenage pregnancies. Really changing the dynamics on teenage pregnancies is going to take a long time.
Yeah.
And so we're happy to work with partners who are really committed to what they do, and we'll continue to build on that. We've been working with some groups that are passionate about REDO and local conflict, and they keep working on those issues year after year, resolving some here, failing on some here, but continuing to try and continuing to get better at what they do. We work with groups that have been focused on land issue and land titling across the country, and some of them we've been working with for 20 years. They're passionate about it. They keep on plugging away, and I think that is the secret to a lot of success in the development, the kind of development things that we care about. It's not about one quick solution from 1 month to the next month or 1 year to the next year. These problems are complex and they take time to solve, and you have to be willing to stick at it for quite a long time. So the Asia Foundation has been working here for quite a long while. We intend to continue on those things where we can provide some assistance and support.
Okay. Maybe for the benefit of our viewers all over the world, our listeners all over the world, we've been mentioning about the Asia Foundation, about some city, the country rep. Who or what is Asia Foundation?
What is Asia Foundation? So Asia Foundation is an organization represented in 18 countries across Asia. We work towards just and thriving Asia. So the programs in each country are quite different. They're fairly autonomous. So what we do in Nepal or what we do in Mongolia is different from what we do in the Philippines. Because as I said before, we're trying to respond to the local conditions. We have our philosophy, if you like, is to support local organizations. And so I have a fantastic team around me. Some of our staff have been with the Asia Foundation for 35 years. Many of them have been 15, 20 years. So what we try and do is invest in certain areas and sectors and in certain development problems, and then stick with them and work together with our partners to see if we can help to solve them. It's very rare that we can say that we have solved the problem. But what we like to do is to try and contribute and slowly but surely improve whatever situation it is that we're working on. So we're a development organization. We're lucky enough to have spread across all of those 18 countries in Asia, and it gives us a tremendous window into the breadth and the depth of development challenges. But on the flip side, here in the Philippines, it gives us a tremendous window into so many passionate people that are really working to change their communities for the better.
Okay. So you've met the members of the TWG Peace event in Zamboanga City, and you saw the other TWGs from Basulta, the island provinces, and Zamboanga Peninsula. What's your thought?
Amazing that people will come together and really talk about differences in perspective and differences in opinion, and have a real conversation about it is amazing. The reason I'm here today is because we had this regional gathering, but I've come a number of times for different meetings of the Zamboanga City Technical Working Group, and I've seen some of the other efforts in different municipalities and cities. And in each case, it's really inspiring to see people who will sit down and talk and discuss openly what troubles them about their community from a security perspective. And also be willing to listen to the ideas of others in what might resolve that. Particularly for other locations where conflict is more regular, it's very impressive to see people coming together and be willing to open their minds and open their ears and listen to different alternatives.
Okay, so time is running out for our program, but before I let you give your last message, I'd like to solicit the message of our Executive Director and Irene and Ben, Madam. Your final message. Si Sir Sam will give his last.
Sa ating mga manonood na kanina nabanggit natin that Peace Connect is ending, no, but still we have the Project Converge. Kung ang inisip natin yung support from the Asia Foundation, so yun, ongoing ho yung Project Converge natin, and IRDT still here for the community, for the people na still interested to come together, to work together for peace and humanity. IRDT would always be your great partner, not only in Sampin Basolta but in entire Mindanao. And bukod doon, si IRDT ay mayroong social protection intervention in Sulu and in Zamboanga City. And that is in partnership with UNHCR, and we also have an ongoing project reaching out the out-of-school children, particularly Bajau in the two municipalities island municipalities in Sulu. We have 18 both schools ongoing right now. That's under Pathways through Child Fund. And we just had finished yung ating baseline study on trafficking in person. That's our project with the IOM, and also we have the ongoing COVID response project still with the IOM. So marami pa tayong pagsasamahan, no? And to the Asia Foundation, once again, sir, salamat for sa tiwala, no, for trusting us, and we will continue working, no, to be a good implementing partner of the Asia Foundation and here in Mindanao, particularly in Sampin Basolta.
Okay, thank you, MK, and I can see tears flowing down.
Actually, nasabi na ni Ma'am Calmano, but then IRDT still continue our advocacy and also implementing showing our commitment. We still have more lessons learned learning insights to share, especially to our partners in making the talk and walk, especially in the community. Marami pa tayong pwede ma-share and ma-share sa community and our other partners. Maraming salamat.
Okay, thank you, A. And of course, the final message of our guest for tonight, Sam Shitty.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much for having me on the program with Dxxx. It's been a pleasure. Great to know that this kind of program exists. Great to know that these kind of discussions are going on in the city, and there is a source of information and discussion and debate. So I would be happy to hear that Dxxx and Radio Ronda and your program will continue for a long time. Information, discussion, being able to exchange ideas is so important in this day and age. And so thank you for having me on, and thank you for the chance to discuss our programs and support for the kind of things that are going on in Zamboanga City.
Okay, thank you. From the Zamboangueños, from RPN, from IRDT, we'd like to say a million thanks for all what you have done, what you've been doing, and what you will still be doing for Zamboanga City. Okay, thank you. And we'd also like to thank our partners and stakeholders, the religious sector, the academic sector, the security sector, and our local government unit, and the TWG-PCBET, and our other partners and stakeholders, the Philippine Council of Evangelical Churches, the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos, the Academy WIMSU and ADZU, CSOs, NGOs, Jabu-Jabu, the Calling, Amores Interfaith Council, and the OMCL, the One Muslim Christian Luma. Okay? So sa ngalan po ng lahat ng members ng TWG-PCBET at sa ngalan din po ni Mr. Sam Shitik, the country rep of the Asia Foundation, sa ngalan din po ng lahat ng bumubuo ng IRDT, headed by our Executive Director, MK Jikiri, our President, Mas Usog, the Board of Directors, the men and women of IRDT, maraming salamat po. Thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias. Daghang salamat, magsukol kayo katantan, Terry Makasi. Si Dxxx po nag-iwan ng isang maganda at mapayapang gabi po sa ating lahat.